Oh, here we go. Okay, then. So, do you want to start us out, Kassan? You got the first one?
No, I want to save that one for the second one. But so the first one goes, half of the credit goes for you because you gave me a proper idea, and I think you were somewhat right because I was thinking about it later just because of this show. And the idea is NaVi is not the best CIS team anymore.
There you go.
That's the one that I think you tweeted it at some point, and I was like, oh my god, this is spot on.
Yes.
Right. So basically, when we look at NaVi in the 2022, what they won just one event. It was the Blast Spring Finals in June, I believe.
Yep.
And other than that, obviously they had Cologne and Major and everything. They're the second place, but overall, that's the only victory for them in the 2022. Meanwhile, you have Cloud9 who won Dallas, a couple of high placings as well. And then we have obviously Outsiders who won the major. So it's a battle up there. I don't think we can say that NaVi right now is, number one position in the CIS region whatsoever, considering the turbulence they had in the last 6 months, especially with bringing in the new guys and the 6-man roster and the failures they had. And, they have the best player of all time. And they are not the best team in their region right now.
Yes, I'll actually say, because this is that's why I did the tweet as well. I would have used this point, but it's okay, you can have it. It's all good. Because it is a banger.
I gave you 50% of it.
It actually does fit the criteria of the show really well if people don't know. Because initially it sounds like such a hot take, doesn't it? Like, what the hell? It's one thing they're not doing well, but they're not even the best CIS team now. Because obviously the joke is, even a month ago, they were supposed to be in contention for just best team in the whole world, everyone still did. I noticed we're all lagging on that. Everyone still, even to Blast World Finals, was and then of course NaVi would be second best team. It's actually that take never survived the play break, boys. Because I was thinking just in the last few months since the play break, think about the tournaments we've had. The joke is, if you compare NaVi and Outsiders even had, in theory, the same number of tournaments because they did ESL Challenger Rotterdam, which no one really cares about. But NaVi had Blast Fall Finals, for example. The Outsiders didn't. But they never made the finals of any of these tournaments. So at Pro League, they were both in the same spot. They were both quarters teams. In fact, Outsiders could even say we lost to the team that won the tournament. So they could even potentially argue they could have gone further. At the major, obviously, it's easily Outsiders. And then you come to Blast World Finals. Who really gives a fuck about that one? It's not like NaVi was going super deep anyway. So there's only one place up in the tournament. So the joke is, if you look since the play break, at least it probably should be Outsiders. They won by the way, here's the other reason why them winning the Challenger Rotterdam thing doesn't even sound that bad anymore. They had to beat Mouse Sports in the semi-final. Magically, Mouse Sports is a major semi-final. You know what I mean? You got to have it one way or the other, guys. Either the actual good teams at the major are good, in which case you like the major system, or they're shit, in which case stop saying the fucking major was good. It's got to be one or the other. So I agree, mate. I actually think logically, if you look at it, let's be real, it's more of a critique of NaVi that they're not the number one team. It's not like Outsiders destroyed them, but I sort of agree, because I think actually right now, to me, this is why we can have a convo about it and coming on it, Maui, is, to me, that does just highlight how much fucking trouble NaVi's in, because they look fucking bad right now, I think they still look bad. They never, just think of that period, they never came back from the play break, Mick. They never came back as the team we all remember.
Well, just look at the wins and losses that they had at the World Finals and compare it to Outsiders, who I would consider to be the one that's above them. And I think that's a pretty safe call at that. But NaVi lost to Liquid. NaVi and Outsiders both lost to Liquid at this one. But it's not even the way that Outsiders lost to it versus the way that NaVi lost to them. It kind of actually felt like the way Outsiders lost was They kind of gambled with that Anubis pick. They actually did really well against Liquid on Inferno. And then you think of kind of the way that NaVi played against Liquid. And I think NaVi actually could have done better in this series if they didn't use that NPL guy. But the fact that they're using him is that's already a case against NaVi being good. This guy, if you put all three of those CIS teams back to back to back, and you looked at the 15-man lineup right there, you would say NPL is the worst player by far. So you have the best player in the whole CIS region maybe right now, but you also have the worst amongst tier 1 teams. So I think that also just look at the teams that Outsiders lost to. Even though they came in last place at the World Finals, they actually lost to the two teams that were in the grand final. And say what people will about G2 or Liquid and they won. They were the top two teams in terms of placing at this event. Maybe you could say that FaZe was better than Liquid, but to lose to G2 and Liquid in particular for Outsiders is not actually as bad of a loss as it looks as the last place finish there. And so, yeah, I'd agree that I think Outsiders right now is the better team. If I have to bet on a team to go farther in a big bracket right now, let's say it's just a 32-team bracket of all the top teams in the world, I would say Outsiders probably is going to do better than NaVi in that bracket.
NaVi has a lot of issues to fix in the break, right? First of all, Electronic cannot be the IGL anymore. obviously can't. One of the reasons, let's give it an example of Nuke. They were the most dominant team on Nuke since Astralis back in 2019. They were so good, and one of the reasons they were so good was Electronic outside, and he was creating so much opportunity, so much space for the team. And now he's taking the IGL. You can see it on Nuke. His game, his playstyle has changed. His impact has changed. Therefore, their best map is just in the garbage bin, right? The map that there's a signature map for them in the past year or something. So first of all, he needs to go back to being a player. I don't think he's cut out to be a IGL for NaVi at least. And then Bit needs to get his old positions rather than playing these new ones on certain maps, and that's how they can get onto the right track and back into the contender kind of area. Because if you look at the season from August, they played 6-7 events, not a single top 4 finish in this like Pro League or a Major and Blast, and it's just the RMR which they were first, and the Blast Premier Fall groups which they were like top 3, and that's it for the second part of the season. Really underwhelming. So they have a player break right now. I'm sure Blade will, come up with something, and the shuffle may be going on right now as we're talking. But definitely some problems they need to solve. And outsiders, obviously, who won the major, are probably the best CIS team at the moment.
I just looked it up now. If you look specifically just on Nuke, then if you go last year with that LAN period when NaVi was unbeatable, Electronic on Nuke had a 1.23 rating, which is unbelievable. Now, in the last 3 months, he has a 1.03 rating, which is that drop off is enormous. Like, you're not going to recover from that, especially as I agree with you as well, Kassad. There's another reason why these moves actually end up completely fucking NaVi, because it wasn't just he brought one player in. The role swaps and what they did to the team. Well, one of the problems is when you're the dominant team and you have a dominant map, you've built your whole game plan on that. Like, now you're always going to get that in the series, you can do this, and if the other person plays Nuke, great. Like, now they have to, like, if they dare pick it, they're fucked. They're going to leave it in. Like, when you take that out, that one plank that comes out, it's why also if you look this year, mate, NaVi's been scrambling since that map disappeared. They've tried to embrace Ancient, they've tried to go over here, and they've been trying everything, mate. They've been trying everything at this point in time.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.